Hi, I'm Max.
And I'm Maya.
So, what does being trans mean to you?
Like when we ask either young people or adults what they think trans is, often the response that comes back is a man that wants to be a woman, or a woman that wants to be a man,
or somebody who was born in the wrong body.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I was born in the wrong body, and I don't feel like I was ever a man. And it was just a process of realisation and coming to accept that fact. But because for me that was quite a scary thought, like, oh, my life's going to change quite a lot.
So I suppose being trans is different, like you say, for everyone, but also people define trans differently. And I personally feel like I'm non-binary and I sit under the trans umbrella, and I get that some people define that differently. Being trans, there's been a very narrow, specific message about what it is to be trans for a long time. It's changing now, but when we were growing up, trans people were tragic figures that hated their bodies, that were the butt of a joke.
Sometimes I can feel like the things that aren't necessary to me being trans, or aren't the core part of me as a trans woman, are the things that people focus in on. So it might be like the way that I dress, or the way that I do my hair, or the way that I put my makeup on, or whether I'm having surgery, all those or whether I'm on hormones, all those kind of things those things don't make me trans.
So Proud to Be is a social enterprise that we both founded in 2011, didn't we?
Yeah.
We actually started Proud to Be in Birmingham, but you could say that we started in San Francisco.
That trip just kind of allowed us to experience a life where being LGBTQ+ wasn't like something that you needed to apologise for. It wasn't like this tragic thing that you needed to get over in order to live a fulfilled life. It was something that could be an integrated part of yourself, and something that you could really, really celebrate. And I think more than anything, Proud to Be was about just bringing people together, the whole LGBTQ+ community together,
and see where we're similar as well, which is really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably the main thing is to not worry so much about what people think, which sounds really easy to say, but actually from my experience, I mean, for years I was desperate to please people and to get their acknowledgement, so I would sort of shape and censor myself in order for that to happen. And actually there came a time where I was like, I don't know who I am anymore, because you don't, when you're trying to please people all the time and trying to meet their expectations. It's almost like, I don't know, you lose respect for yourself, and also you forget who you are.
It's so true. I felt for a long time that to be a strong, independent person, I needed to rely on myself and myself only, and that in some ways forced me to cut a lot of people out of my life. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, and I think what I'm learning as I get older is that it's not a weak thing to be vulnerable with someone, and it's not a weak thing to ask for help when you need it.
I mean, we both came out twice to our family, didn't we? So when I was younger, I assumed that I was a gay man, and so that experience of coming out to my family was quite different to when I came out as a trans woman to them last year. I think I felt a lot more self-assured the second time around. But thankfully, for the most part, we've had some really good experiences with our family, haven't we?
Oh, definitely. There's some family members that we don't see anymore, and I think a large part of that is because their kind of unwillingness to accept and celebrate all of us.
I think someone who's non-binary asks particular questions without meaning to about how somebody sees gender themselves.
And I think there's this kind of pressure for everyone to be very sure about their identity and very sure before they come out. But I definitely feel like I'm still unsure, and I might be unsure for the rest of my life.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
I think when somebody approaches a gender clinic, for the most part, it's not just like they woke up one morning and like, I think I'll just go to the gender clinic today and see what they offer. Well, you know, it doesn't happen that way. People have been on a journey and processed a lot of stuff and are pretty, you know, they might have questions, they might have doubts, but very often they'll be sure of what they need in order to feel happy and feel okay.
And also people like regretting transition. The figures are something like, and this might not be completely accurate, but they're so low that they're lower than someone regretting hip replacement therapy. But no one is up in arms about hip replacement therapy. No one's telling people to wait 2 years to make sure that they've made the right decision, see a load of psychologists.
And that idea that children in general shouldn't have access to knowledge about LGBT people and their lives I find it hugely offensive, because it's almost like these people are. It's a grown-up thing.
Whereas I wasn't introduced to the word gay, but when I learned that word, it was like, oh, that's me. And if only I'd had that realisation earlier on with the right support around me, things might have been different, throughout my teenage years. And it's allowing people to maybe recognise themselves or their family members in what they're taught and what they're told about. That is a positive thing. It greatly improves outcomes for our young people and our children. So why are we peddling this idea that it's dangerous for them?
You know, the advice we'd give to parents and carers of young trans people is listen to the young to your young person. You know, try not to project your own values, your own childhood experience onto your young person. And I know there's an adjustment and you might need support, but I think it's just really important to keep those lines of communication open. What they need is unconditional, unwavering support.
We realise that there are so many parents, carers, guardians, etc. that want to support their trans young people but don't know how to, and often rely on their young people for emotional support, for guidance. So, seek out information that you can trust, and I know that can be difficult, but reach out for support to organisations like Proud to Be, or other parents or carers or guardians that have been through the same thing.
There's groups like ours, Proud to Be, we see lots of parents and carers come along to the different social groups, finding the support that will help you to support them.
Yeah, that's basically it.